Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sean Stathis's Theory to Practice project. I want to thank you for joining me on this lovely morning, and I hope that with this presentation you will gain a greater perspective of where I'm coming from and what my philosophy will look like within the ELA classroom. So let's get started. I would like to begin by saying that I will use the constructivist approach within my ELA classroom. I want the students to be able to create their own learning through discovery. There, I want them to be able to read a text, whether it be a novel or informational text, try and come up with their own questions, their own learning styles. And I think that this would be terrific, especially with the older grade levels. From about fourth grade on, I feel like I could trust them and allow for them to use this constructivist approach, and I would simply be a facilitator in their learning. I would walk around and ask them questions. I would assist them in diving deeper into the text there, and I feel like this would be so wonderful to use, and especially in the ELA classroom. And also, for anyone that knows me, they know that I am a big fan of PE. And so I would certainly integrate PE into my ELA classroom as well. How would I do this, you might ask? Well, I would actually set up a station in the corner of the classroom, and this may sound crazy, but I would have an exercise bike. In that corner, I would have a few lightweight dumbbells. I would have a mat that the kids can do push-ups and sit-ups on. I would have a little section where the kids can meditate and just relax. And honestly, this may sound absurd, but PE is shown to have a greater impact on kids' learning and their focus there. And I feel like we've all experienced times when we dive into a text and sometimes we can't get going. We don't understand where the story is going. We don't have enough time to think even what we are reading about. And I feel like this station would allow kids to have a couple minutes just to get on the bike and pedal a little bit and try and think about thinking, metacognition there. And so I hope now that you can be with me on this, and I feel like integration, especially with regard to PE, would be a wonderful advantage to the ELA classroom. Upon further examination of my teaching philosophy in the ELA classroom, I would love to dive a little bit deeper. And I want to say that first and foremost, a safe and enjoyable learning environment is priority number one. Content and teaching for the standardized test, that comes second in my mind, because I want my kids to have fun in the classroom. I want them to be excited to come to Mr. S's classroom every day and know that they're going to be welcomed with such great joy and warmth as well. And also, I want to incorporate a lot of humor, especially at the start of class. I want to have students, one student per day, actually read off a comical poem or a funny joke. And the joke or poem has to include possibly a metaphor or a simile or assimilation, so that way I can tie it into the ELA standards there. But it's a fun way to do so. And also, I want to have my students practice a lot of journal writing. I want them to write in their journals every day, multiple times a day. And these journals can simply be any questions that they have if they didn't understand the content that we learned during that day. Um, or it can be deeper and more meaningful journal entries where the students may share something personal and they may need my advice. And if they choose to allow me to read that, then wonderful. And I will provide them with feedback and try and assist them in any way, shape, or form that I can. And I feel that journal writing is an excellent way, and it's through the writing standards in ELA that these kids can have a greater way to express themselves. And I would be so stupid not to have journals in my classroom, quite honestly, because a lot of students may have trouble speaking out loud and they may feel nervous there, and the only way they may be able to express themselves is through writing. Finally, as for the practices within my ELA classroom, I will have my students seated in groups. I believe full-heartedly in group work. I believe that no one child, no one individual even, can have the same emotions and feelings while reading a text. That's just not possible. And so I want them to be able to share their ideas and also know that they're in a judgment-free classroom. There will be absolutely no criticisms there, especially negative criticisms that my students will say to each other. If I hear that, there will be consequences, because I want everyone to feel free to say whatever they would like to say and to speak their mind, speak their heart there especially. And I feel like that's going to be such an important aspect of my classroom. Also, I want to integrate music. I feel like there's so many songs out there that have amazing lyrics. I would have my students read these lyrics and possibly write their own lyrics as well, and they'll also speak and listen to the music. I'll play the music for them out loud, and they'll be able to possibly speak and talk to a neighbor and tell them their thoughts throughout hearing the song while they're listening. And I feel that that's would make such a great difference in the classroom, because I know how powerful music is, and I would love for my students to be able to experience this music and share and pick their own songs to talk about and to have fun with there. And so yes, I wish I could talk longer. I hope that everyone's gained a better perspective of my own teaching philosophy in the ELA classroom. I feel like this would work, especially for the older students, grades 4 and above, where students are able to think more on their own, and I can trust them to perform in groups and stay on task there. And I want to thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.